Hello everyone, how are you? Today is November 14th, and we have another VoD review. This one was sent in by a player named Scruff, and this was played on a console, which might be obvious as we progress forward. So it's pretty cool. Might be a unique chance for a lot of the PC players who watch my channel to get maybe a different perspective. Anyway, Scruff asks some questions. Where do I position myself as D.Va? How do I use my shield? How do I increase my survival time? How do I use my ultimate effectively? When do I initiate? When do I decide to become... Oh my gosh, there's a lot. We have a tall orders today, guys, but I think we can manage it. I'm going to sort of focus this review on console players, but all of this stuff is still applicable to PC players, and I'll mention what is what as we go on. But here we go. We are on attack, obviously, and so we're going to start with positioning a little bit. So let's talk a little bit about it. Spoiler alert, this is not where you want to be. So for D.Va, you pretty much have two different roles, two different modes you can be in. First is when you're main tank, and next is if you're off tank. So if you're main tank, that means you don't have a Reinhardt, you don't have some sort of big, beefy guy standing on the cart. Now, if we were to look at the team composition that Scruff had, well, he didn't look at it because he didn't press the scoreboard to check his team, but I will tell you from looking at the game that they didn't have a Reinhardt. They had a Zarya. Now, Zarya is not really that great as a main tank because she only has a limited amount of time on her shield, meaning that Scruff, as the D.Va player, should have been acting as the main tank, which basically being the cart pusher. You push the cart, you stand up front. Pretty obvious positioning, really. You just stand up here, you block the important, dangerous stuff with your shield, and you mostly hide behind it. Sort of the classic way you think of playing D.Va. And then your Zarya stands kind of around, and she puts on shields, and everything's good. Main thing is you just want to keep pressure on the cart. You want to keep pushing up the cart. The second place we can be with D.Va is in more of a side area. This is if we were an off tank. Now, I don't recommend this for the game that Scruff was playing, but if you already have a Reinhardt, something like that, playing on the side here is quite good. But you want to be close enough to still be able to project your barrier, because remember, your barrier projects forward. So if I do this, I'm actually projecting all the way up to about here, my projectile block. Another area would be right here, would be close enough to do it as well. Remember, Scruff was all the way up here, so this is way too far for his team. But if we're up here, we'll be able to do that, block, again, the important damage, and then be sort of an initiator. We can come around here and knock people towards our team and, start the fight, all that good stuff. Our hero, Scruff, however, chose to be over here on the side, and we're going to see that he has a bunch of grief happen to him because of it. He takes some damage. He has to burn his entire shield bar. He burns the rest of it as well. And now we're no real further than we started. We're 200 health fed to the enemy for their ultimate, and we have no more shield left. Also, because, oh, there we go. We finally, well, I don't know what the button is for the controller, but it's tab, obviously, on the keyboard. Finally, we look at our team composition. So better late than never, but I've talked about this in other VODs as well. Press the scoreboard. Just look at your team. Depending on what your team is, depends a lot on how you play your hero. But we're going to see, because Scruff isn't really putting any pressure on the card, he's not going up there, he's not standing on it. First, he just took a ton of damage, but also his team isn't really doing anything. We're just sitting here, not doing much. Finally, though, we go in, we step on the cart for a bit, and we're going to sit here. We're going to sit on the cart, actually push it forward. This is going to pressure the other team, allow our team to come up, have some confidence to do stuff, and so our team gets a nice pick off. That's cool. A couple people dead on the other team, so this is looking great for us on the offense. And now you see, in this forward position, we're standing up here, we're being courageous, good things are happening. And this is looking really good for the offense. Now we get a little intimate with this wall. There we go. We finally get around it, though, so that's good. Our Zarya winds up suiciding, unfortunately. The Reinhardt almost goes down, wastes his ultimate, which is good for us, but unfortunately, a lot of our teammates wind up dying. Now, what we just did there was pretty dangerous. Now, we need to stay calm. I talk about, in all my VODs, I say stay calm. Now, the natural tendency is when you win a fight, when you're pushing the cart, you want to get up here like you're the captain of the ship or something and be like, charge ahead, men, go defeat them, like you're Captain Kirk riding on your battle steed or something like that. Unfortunately, though, Overwatch is not a game for dramatics. Instead, we just jump off and you want to hide behind it. So obviously the cart was way up there, right? But you want to stand behind the cart. Obviously D.Va can't crouch, but if you're a different hero, you might want to crouch and use it as cover. We don't want to get up here and, taunt our enemies like this. And we can see that getting up here made us very vulnerable. This McCree was shooting at us. The Hanzo managed to get us. And now we kind of panic a little bit. We go up here. We can't kill any of these heroes, especially with it's the pre-buff D.Va. So she goes much more slowly when she shoots. She can't do as much damage. And this entire time we're going crazy here. We're being a lunatic. We see our team is dying because we don't have a tank to sit there and, be the rock that our team stands on. But anyway, we progress. We actually almost get a kill on the Mei here. She manages to ice block in time, unfortunately. And at this point, the big advantage we had is pretty much gone. They're starting to respawn. In fact, we're already down to someone. And if you look, the result of us going crazy meant we didn't even see when their entire team is diving our supports. Now, there is sound, but still, not aware. Our entire team winds up dying because the other team winds up diving them. And it's overall not a very good time. We have 13 health, winds up being 0 health, so we're in baby D.Va form. We lose our mech at the end of a fight. That's really bad for D.Va. Now, if we were maybe an off tank, being in baby D.Va form wouldn't be that bad. But as the main tank, you might have just wanted to jump off. Fortunately, the other team lets us get some nice damage off on them for no real reason, so we get a nice 70%. We end up getting our mech back very, very quickly, but if the other team didn't let you get that damage in, you might have been stuck without mech for a pretty long time. So something to consider is jumping off when you don't have your mech with D.Va in those sorts of situations. But we do have a nice ultimate, though, that comboed with the Zarya, so that was very good. We got 2 kills with it. We wound up picking off the McCree as well, and we're looking really good now. We do have a booster. I think we should go on the Zenyatta because he's quite low, only has 100 health. Instead, though, he's going to come up, and this is more of a console-specific thing. But it also applies to PC as well to a lesser extent. So we have our boosters up. We can take the fight to Zenyatta, but we choose not to. Instead, he walks up to us. Now, we're D.Va. We have to track constantly to do damage. When he's up here jumping and strafing around us, that's very difficult. His weapon just needs to get 1 shot off every, certain amount of time frame. So Zenyatta actually has an advantage when we're jumping around each other like this because D.Va has to do the tracking thing. Especially when you're on a controller, you don't have the ability to do that quick, fast tracking up close. That's why the Zenyatta winds up just jumping around us, getting off all that damage, and taking us out. The Reaper winds up finally taking out the Zenyatta, however, so all is good for now in the world, but we need to talk about what we just saw. So we get out of our mech, the Zenyatta goes down, we get up here. Yeah. So we've talked about crosshair placement and positioning in other videos, but this is something that's even more important for a console player. Now on PC, if we have all these different things, we can actually look around pretty quickly. You shouldn't do it, but it's a little bit less ridiculous. On console, though, we can't do these quick snaps, so we have to be like really crane our neck around. Now, it's maybe not that slow, but you get my point. So if you ever find that you're doing this, you have to look all around you to actually look at all of your opponents, you're in a terrible position. So here, the car was about in this area. Instead of standing on top of the car like we talked about before, looking in the cave, all that stuff, he could have just backed up a little bit and stood like maybe here. Now, if you stand here, in fact, you don't even have to move your camera. This is everything you need to look at. Everywhere an enemy could possibly look at is right here without even looking at my camera, without moving it rather. So this lets you get a really nice focus on stuff. You would be able to see the Hanzo and the Lucio come out very easily, immediately. You could really assess the situation and deal with it. Again, having this type of thing is much more important on console than PC. It's very important on PC, and it's much more important on consoles. So that's how important it is. It's like beyond important if you're playing on a controller. Because on a controller, on PC, if someone sneaks up behind me, I can snap to them. Right? I can do that. It's not ideal, but it's technically possible. With a controller, though, you can't do that. So you always want to keep your camera movement very, very minimal. That means you're in a good position. Just kind of come around like this, easy. If you're standing up here and you're worried that people are all around you, you should probably back off. But anyway, so we're doing the spinny thing, and whoops, there's a Hanzo looking straight in our face. Fortunately, he misses, and we do kind of this little dance thing. This is very dangerous. Scruff should probably be dead, like 2 arrows ago, 3 arrows ago. 4 arrows ago. Okay, maybe our opponents don't have the best aim in the world, but we can't rely on that. Finally, the McCree says, I'm sick of this, guys. Come on, kill the baby D.Va. What's your problem? But we respawn. It's 30 seconds left. We still have enough time for a really nice push. A lot of our friends just went down. If we look at the kill feed, a lot of our people on our team just went down. 3 people down now, so it's pretty much pointless to push. We should wait for them to come up, but instead we suicide. Basically, we do get a pick, but the pick's not going to matter too much because we got picked ourselves and we wound up getting our Zarya killed as well. So that was pretty much just suicide. Basically, just through the game 100%. We want to, especially when we're down to these 30-second, crunch time sort of scenarios, you want to get the entire team together, really wait for your whole team. Now, they don't always show up, right? Your team doesn't always get together. Maybe you have someone get picked off, but it's better to have as much of your team as possible than to come in 2v6 or whatever this is and just die. Now, by the time we respawn, there's only like 4 seconds left, so we're in that overtime scramble, pretty low chance of winning. The Mei ultimate's down, so that's pretty hard. All we can do is stall, but chances are this is going to be the round. We do get some nice little spinny spin off, but we get ulted by the Reinhardt, ulted by the Hanzo. Oh no, it's tragic. We're going to go down, and that's the round. Now, the other team does have their offensive segment. It only lasts about 40 seconds. Spoiler alert, they pretty much just whomp through. But there is something to say about this segment. Now, as a tank, where you stand is pretty much where your team stands as well. Yes, it's not 100% of the time, but chances are if you stand here, your team is going to be standing behind you. At least that's what you're telling them, I want you to stand behind me right there. Now, this is a very bad position for our team in this particular defensive location because we're only holding up to that point. Plus, our team is relatively short-ranged. The composition is still like a Reaper, obviously a D.Va. So we're not really going to be winning this poke war at all, ever. We don't want to take this long angle at all. Plus, if one of our guys gets picked off, that's terrible. That's the worst thing ever. If one of their guys gets picked off, whatever, they just respawn anyway. So we really should be standing back here. We should be utilizing this short angle so that when they come around the corner, bam, we're in this short range fight already, one that actually benefits us. So any potential they really had of holding this is pretty much gone because we stood so far up. We're taking this really bad thing. Now our soldier actually manages to get a pick, which is quite admirable on their Zarya. I'm not sure how, but still. We get some picks, but they just respawn. Now, if we fast forward a little bit, we see that eventually we wind up losing the poke war. And once we do it one time, once they get one pick we see on the Reaper, that's it. We're done. They're just going to roll all over us, whomp through us. We lose our mech. Our team starts dying. Our Lucio's down. And that's pretty much it. We go down very shortly. And that winds up being the match. So we saw there, I'm sure a lot of you actually have never really watched a console VoD before. I watched a few of them, not too many. But you can see that the aim and the general mechanics is all on a lower level than PC players because obviously the mouse and keyboard is a much better tool to do that type of action with. This makes all this decision-making type of stuff I'm talking about and that I talk about in other videos as well much more important, or just regularly more important, I guess. I don't want to be too dramatic about it. More important for console players. Although that doesn't mean it's not important for PC players. But if you're a PC player, you can technically, it's not going to happen to most people, but you can technically brute force your way out of most situations. If someone sneaks up behind you, like I said, flick. You can still flick headshot them. That just can't happen on console though. So anyway, guys, the straw poll that you guys did the other day, thanks by the way for all you guys who participated in it, seemed to be edging a little bit more towards the later Eastern Standard Time times like in the evening for me. So that's probably when I'm going to be doing the stream at some point. I'm going to get the schedule set up by sometime next week. So look forward to that. I know I will. So anyway, like if you liked it, which I hope you did. As always, leave any questions, comments, all that stuff down below. If you have a video idea, go ahead and leave it. I'm very receptive to those. Lots of times people will give me a video idea and then the next day I'll do it because I like it. So definitely if you have a burning question, something like that, go ahead and leave it down below like I said before. Anyway, stay positive and have a great day. Peace out, guys. Your barrier, because remember your barrier projects forward. So if I do this, I'm actually projecting all the way up to about here, my projectile block. Another area would be right here, would be close enough to do it as well. Remember, Scruff was all the way up here, so this is way too far for his team. But if we're up here, we're able to do that, block again the important damage, and then be sort of an initiator. We can come around here and knock people towards our team and, you know, start the fight, all that good stuff. Our hero Scruff, however, chose to be over here on the side, and we're going to see that he has a bunch of grief happen to him because of it. He takes some damage. He has to burn his entire shield bar. He burns the rest of it as well. And now we're no real further than we started. We're 200 health fed to the enemy for their ultimate, and we have no more shield left. Also, because, oh, there we go. We finally, well, I don't know what the button is for the controller, but it's tab, obviously, on the keyboard. Finally, we look at our team composition. So, better late than never, but I've talked about this in other VoDs as well. Press the scoreboard. Just look at your team. Depending on what your team is, depends a lot on how you play your hero. But we're going to see, because Scruff isn't really putting any pressure on the card, he's not going up there, he's not standing on it. First, he just took a ton of damage, but also his team isn't really doing anything. We're just sitting here, not doing much. Finally, though, we go in, we step on the cart for a bit, and we're going to sit here. We're going to sit on the cart, actually push it forward. This is going to pressure the other team, allow our team to come up, have some confidence to do stuff, and so our team gets a nice pick off. That's cool. A couple people dead on the other team, so this is looking great for us on the offense. And now you see, in this forward position, we're standing up here, we're being courageous. Good things are happening. And this is looking really good for the offense. Now we get a little intimate with this wall. There we go. We finally get around it, though, so that's good. Our Zarya winds up suiciding, unfortunately. The Reinhardt almost goes down, wastes his ultimate, which is good for us, but unfortunately, a lot of our teammates wind up dying. Now, what we just did there was pretty dangerous. Now, we need to stay calm. I talk at tanks, so if you're main tank, that means you don't have a Reinhardt, you don't have some sort of big, beefy guy standing on the cart. Now, if we were to look at the team composition that Scruff had, well, he didn't look at it because he didn't press the scoreboard to check his team, but I will tell you from looking at the game that they didn't have a Reinhardt. They had a Zarya. Now, Zarya is not really that great as a main tank because she only has a limited amount of time on her shield, meaning that Scruff, as the D.Va player, should have been acting as the main tank, which is basically being the cart pusher. You push the cart, you stand up front. Pretty obvious positioning, really. You just stand up here, you block the important, dangerous stuff with your shield, and you mostly hide behind it. Sort of the classic way you think of playing D.Va. And then your Zarya stands kind of around, and she puts on shields, and everything's good. Main thing is you just want to keep pressure on the cart. You want to keep pushing up the cart. The second place we can be with D.Va is in more of a side area. This is if we were an off tank. Now, I don't recommend this for the game that Scruff was playing, but if you already have a Reinhardt, something like that, playing on the side here is quite good. But you want to be close enough to still be able to project about, in all my VoDs I say stay calm. Now, the natural tendency is when you win a fight, when you're pushing the cart, you want to get up here like you're the captain of the ship or something and be like, charge ahead, men. Go defeat them like you're Captain Kirk riding on your battle steed or something like that. Unfortunately, though, Overwatch is not a game for dramatics. Instead, we just jump off, and you want to hide behind it. So obviously the cart was way up there, right? But you want to stand behind the cart. Obviously, D.Va can't crouch, but if you're a different hero, you might want to crouch and use it as cover. We don't want to get up here and, taunt our enemies like this. And we can see that getting up here made us very vulnerable. This McCree was shooting at us. The Hanzo managed to get us. And now we kind of panic a little bit. We go up here. We can't kill any of these heroes, especially with it's the pre-buff D.Va. So she goes much more slowly when she shoots. She can't do as much damage. And this entire time we're going crazy here. We're being a lunatic. We see our team is dying because we don't have a tank. Just hello everyone, how are you? Today is November 14th. And we have another VoD review. This one was sent in by a player named Scruff, and this was played on a console, which might be obvious as we progress forward. So it's pretty cool. Might be a unique chance for a lot of the PC players who watch my channel to get maybe a different perspective. Anyway, Scruff asks some questions. Where do I position myself as D.Va? How do I use my shield? How do I increase my survival time? How do I use my ultimate effectively? When do I initiate? When do I decide to become... Oh my gosh, there's a lot. We have a tall orders today, guys, but I think we can manage it. I'm going to sort of focus this review on console players, but all of this stuff is still applicable to PC players, and I'll mention what is what as we go on. But here we go. We are on attack, obviously, and so we're going to start with positioning a little bit. So let's talk a little bit about it. Spoiler alert, this is not where you want to be. So for D.Va, you pretty much have two different roles, two different modes you can be in. First is when you're main tank, and next is if you're off